What is up, guys? Welcome to the channel and welcome to my La-5 basic tutorial. So I'm going to show you how to use this machine and how to start it. And first off, I want to give a huge thank you and a huge shout out to the person that showed me all that yesterday and went through the effort of explaining all these things to me, which is a member of the JG26. His name is Neun. And he has a slingshot channel on YouTube, and if you are interested in that kind of stuff, you might want to take a look on his channel. So this was just the first thing that I wanted to do here, and now I'm going to show you how to start the machine. So the basic checklist that you want to go through to get the engine management under control in this plane. Of course, you need to equip the buttons for all these things, since you cannot directly click it in the cockpit, like always, usually in this game, Battle of Stalingrad. So the first thing that you need to equip and check on your engine management stuff is to set the prop pitch in the right position. You see this little handle right there below the throttle. Put it all the way to the front, and this is a fine prop pitch that you need for the takeoff. And in this machine, you basically can use this prop pitch, this fine prop pitch, for the whole flight. You just want to reduce it just a little bit as soon as you are in the air, but I'm going to explain this later on. So another thing, before we get into all that, you see these indicators right here, the percentage at the right side of the screen. If you are using the La-5 for the first time, it is a very good idea to have these indicators enabled. You enable them in the settings of the game options, basic game options or something like that. And yeah, these indicators are going to show you one thing that you have no other option to really see. So it's very important that when you don't have a feeling for that, or you don't know the buttons by heart and stuff, that you have this indicators enabled first. So now let's continue on. So first thing was setting the prop pitch to the fine position, putting this little handle right here all the way to the front. Then you want to make sure that the engine mixture, this fuel mixture, is at the right mixture. You see this handle right here at the left of the throttle. Pull it all the way back. This is going to be the rich mixture that you need in lower altitudes, and the higher you get, you can lean the mixture like that by putting this handle a little bit more up front. So then you set the throttle like that. The next thing is going to be opening the oil cooler. You see this handle right here. You have to make sure that it's all the way to the front. This opens the oil cooler. And now you want to make sure that your supercharger, see this handle right here next to the oil, and thanks Trackrecordings for this little nice spastic things going on. Put this thing to the backwards position. This is supercharger position number 1, and only when you get above 3,500 meters you are going to enable supercharger position number 2. Then we are going to continue on to the cowl shutters. First the inlets. You see right here, and this is a reason why you want to enable these indicators to the right of the screen. Put these inlets on 100%. And this way the inlet cowl shutters are going to be completely open, and you can leave them like that for the complete flight. It won't really affect your flight performance, but for the outlets, the outlet cowl shutters, you see these flaps right here moving up and down. If you close them completely, you're going to be a whole lot faster. For example, on the winter maps, you can leave them closed the complete flight and it's not going to be a problem. But on the summer map, you want to keep your eyes on the temperature and open them from time to time. But when you are fighting against an enemy, it's a very good thing to close these cowl shutters. So make sure that you use this little strategy to increase your performance in the La-5 a little bit. So now that we have done all that, we are just going to repeat it real quick. So put the throttle to the right position, set the prop pitch, set the engine mixture, open the oil cooler, open the inlets completely, close the outlets completely, and make sure that the supercharger is on position number 1. And that is pretty much it. Now we are going to hit E on the keyboard for the engine procedure to start, and in the meantime I'm going to show you the most important instruments. So right here in the middle of the screen, this shows you the RPM of the engine. So the 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, this is the RPM. Below that, to the lower right of that, we have the manifold pressure. Then to the outer right here we have the oil temperature, and below that we have the engine temperature. And you see right here on the scale of the engine temperature, you see this red part of the scale, and around the 2 is the good temperature. So you want to keep the engine temperature at around 200 degrees. For the oil, slightly above 100 and not above 120. So then we have the altimeter right here in the middle of all these instruments, the compass to the right of that, slip hole below that, and to the upper left here we have the airspeed indicator, watch, and to the lower left here we have the fuel tank. So these were the instruments. Now we are going to taxi a little bit. I'm going to show you how to do this in the machine. First off, we are going to close the canopy. And like I said, I'm going to put a list in the description with all the things that you have to equip in your settings for this machine. But also, if you listened here, you saw it all too. But just so you know, you're going to have a list for that, all that in addition. So now we are going to taxi to the runway. I'm going to use the brakes right here, and it's like in all the Russian planes, you have to use the rudder in addition to the brakes if you want to lead the air pressure to the brake that you want to activate. So if I want to turn right, I'm going to use the right air brake, and I do that by using the right rudder in addition to the brakes. So this is just a little tip to taxi. And this machine spins out of control. It's very, very easy to do ground loops and donuts on the ground. So use very, very little throttle when maneuvering on the ground, and just tip the brakes in addition to the rudder here and there to get where you want to be. So now we are at the runway already here, and now it's a useful thing to know, first off, that this machine has the same engine torque like the German ones. So you will need to apply right rudder as soon as you start to take off. And now we're going to start the machine, and then I'm going to show you how to use the boost and how to increase the performance in this plane a little bit, like I said, with the cowl shutters and the temperature stuff and all that, prop pitch also. So now we are going to increase the throttle to 100%, give a little bit of right rudder. Oh, by the way, I forgot, I'm going to use a little bit of flaps. I'm going to push the machine down a little, wait for it to gain some speed. And then as soon as we have some speed, we're going to gently pull the machine up into the air. And of course we're going to put the gear in some additional altitude first, and then we are going to retract the flaps. So now how to increase your performance with this machine. So first off, this machine performs very good in low altitudes, and it performs horrible in higher altitudes. But there are some tips that you can use. So first off, about the engine, about the prop pitch, just reduce the prop pitch a very, very little bit. Put it to 95%, so this little lever right here, just pull it back just a very tiny bit, and it is a constant speed prop, and you can pretty much forget about it for the rest of the flight. You only want to make sure that you do not overturn or over-rev your engine too much in a dive, so go a little bit back on the throttle when you are in a very steep dive, and other than that, forget about the prop pitch now, from now on. Next thing, to increase your performance, see this little thing right here. Thank you, Trackrecordings, once again. You are going to enable the boost right here, and with that you can increase your manifold pressure really drastically. You take a look at the manifold pressure right there. If I disable the boost, see how the big difference that this makes. And especially in lower altitudes, you can increase your speed very dramatically if you use this boost. But of course you want to make sure to not use it for too long. You can use it for 5, 6, 7 minutes, but if you get to 10 minutes you are running into some problems with your temperature and stuff like that. So keep that in mind, don't use it for too long. Now the next thing, when you are purchasing a German or when you are in a fight with a German, make sure to close these cowl shutters as they are right now, but keep your temperature, keep an eye on the temperature. And if your oil temperature and your cylinder temperature of the air-cooled engine are getting too high, you will need to open these cowl shutters for just a while, you know. So keep this in mind. This is also going to drastically improve your performance if you close these cowl shutters. This makes you a whole lot faster. Now, the last very important thing to remember when using this machine is a supercharger. Don't use the supercharger position 2 too early. So if you use supercharger position 2 in lower altitudes, this is really bad for your engine, and it's really not helping you at all. It's going to decrease the performance a lot. And like I said, only use it above 3,500 meters. And many people use the supercharger too early in this machine. And like I said, it's really going to decrease your performance a lot. Alright guys, I hope this tutorial helped you a bit and you're now able to use this machine online. And maybe I see you in the skies. So this is self-elected Apeoftheyear signing off, and I'll see you in the next video.